First tonight, we have major breaking news. 7 charges have now been filed against Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, including aggravated murder. And earlier today, Utah County Prosecutor Jeff Gray, who will join us in a moment, announced his intent to seek the death penalty. Take a look.
I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense, for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony, for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently.
All right. Now, during the press conference, Jeff Gray also read off some of the text messages that investigators have obtained between Robinson and his transgender partner, and they are pretty shocking. Listen.
Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I am. I'm sorry." Roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence." Robinson, "Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent."
All right, following the press conference, the suspect, Tyler Robinson, made his first court appearance where he was informed of the charges against him. Even fake news CNN covered the hearing. MSDNC, they couldn't be bothered to cut away from their anti-Trump coverage for even, 5 minutes to cover any part of that hearing. And we actually saw and heard him for the first time. Take a look.
State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson. I'm Judge Graff. Mr. Robinson, at this time, you will remain in custody without bail.
Since the assassination, the left has repeatedly tried to deflect any and all blame for their rhetoric, their own rhetoric, their dangerous ideology that led up to Charlie Kirk's assassination by claiming this is an issue that happens on both sides. That is not true. That's complete BS. It's an argument that doesn't hold water, and they know it, which is why they're desperate to push that narrative. But let's take a look at the facts. Many on the left celebrated what happened in Israel on October 7th: murder, kidnapping, rape, torture, beheading. We have flagrant anti-Semitism in the halls of Congress. We have it on college campuses. They elevated and excused Luigi Mangione, this man accused of assassinating the United Healthcare CEO. And some have turned him into a hero to be worshipped. They questioned whether the attempts on Donald Trump's life ever even happened, some even celebrating these attempts. Leftists tried to murder Justice Kavanaugh. There was a near-fatal shooting of Steve Scalise on that baseball field. They doxed, they harassed, they harmed ICE agents and others. Senator Rand Paul, he was beaten by his own neighbor in his own yard. 574 riots, we remind you, in the summer of 2020, dozens of dead Americans, thousands of injured police officers, billions in property damage. Their candidate for mayor of New York, Marxist Kami Mamdani, endorsed the phrase globalize the Antifada until he suddenly didn't, only after refusing to condemn it for month after month after month. We'll have more on that in a moment. But first, here now with more on the charges filed today against Tyler Robinson, Utah County Prosecutor Jeff Gray. Jeff, thank you. Can we just sum up why these 7 charges and why seek the death penalty?
Well, we charge what the evidence supports. And after we have an exhaustive investigation by our local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, these are what's supported by the evidence that has been gathered so far. Again, they continue to investigate leads and so forth, but at this time, these are the appropriate charges. As far as the death penalty, under Utah law, the death penalty is not something that is required for all murders, but if there are certain aggravators, then it qualifies for the death penalty. And in this case, in the murder of Charlie Kirk, he put others at great risk of death.
Okay, let's talk a little bit. When I read the text messages with the roommate, who apparently was cooperating, I would assume is still cooperating, it sounds like it was premeditated. Drop what you are doing. Look under my keyboard. The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk. I'm going to take it. That sounds like premeditation to me. If they were to go for an insanity defense, it sounds like he was very aware of every action he was taking, and everything was calculated, planned out to the letter.
Yeah, as far as Utah law, premeditation is actually not an element. The question is whether or not the homicide occurred in an intentional or knowing manner. So that will be the question. And the evidence that we set forth in our PC statement is designed to show that there was that intent.
Yeah, let's examine a little bit. The roommate specifically asks, you weren't the one that did it, right? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, interrogated someone in similar clothing. That would, again, he's implicating himself there. That seems pretty damning to me.
Yeah, again, it's supportive of our burden to show probable cause that a crime was committed and that this defendant committed that crime. Ultimately, it will be for a jury to decide. I don't like to comment on the meaning of these texts. We put the information out there in support of our probable cause statement, but down the road, we'll have that opportunity to go to trial, put on our evidence after a judge has reviewed it, make sure that it's admissible, and at that point, it'll go to the jury, and it'll be in their hands to determine exactly what the facts are.
Is it possible, sir, in your view, based on this being an ongoing investigation, that more charges could be possible?
It's certainly possible. I mean, they're following all leads that they have. I'm not privy to all their investigation, but they're continuing to do that. And so if those leads take them to other individuals that may have been involved, then certainly, yes, we would file charges.
I want to go to the court hearing, and I guess he claimed that he was indigent, and the judge couldn't have been more respectful, very professional, I thought. And the judge saying, you have a right to an attorney. I also warned him not to incriminate himself, that he has the right to remain silent, and that if he couldn't afford an attorney, one would be provided. It seems like he will be provided an attorney. Did I glean that right?
Yes. Yes,
a public
precisely.
defender?
And well, a public defender or someone appointed that is Rule 8 qualified in Utah, which means that they're qualified and have the skills necessary to defend a death penalty case. So he will receive that, yes.
I'm sure this has shaken the community to the core. I'm sure I know you have tried a lot of cases. You're known to be very good at your job and very thorough. Anything else that you might be able to add, any context you may be able to add in terms of the process by which you go to ensure a fair trial, but also a trial that brings justice?
Yes, I mean, this is obviously just the first stage of the criminal proceedings. He is entitled to a preliminary hearing. And at that preliminary hearing, it'll be our burden to establish probable cause that he committed these crimes. And the purpose of that preliminary hearing is to ensure that we have sufficient evidence to go to a trial. We're confident that we meet that burden. And then we'll proceed with any motions. And, you mentioned mental health. I know public defenders, they've already sent in social workers to help determine that. And that's what I want. I want him to have effective assistance of counsel as guaranteed in our Constitution. And, my experience, it's, as an appellate attorney, I've taken 2 cases to the U.S. Supreme Court. It's just as important. Well, not only is it important to obtain a conviction, but a conviction that will withstand scrutiny on appeal. And the major question in that is whether or not he got effective assistance of counsel. But we're committed, and we welcome that burden.
Jeff Gray, we really appreciate your time tonight. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for the hard work you're involved in. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.